Hey guys, and welcome back to episode 17 of Divine FM. This week I'm going to be talking about breaking the cycle and validating your emotions. I feel like whenever anything changes in our life, whenever anything new happens, or something goes away, or just anything that happens that's out of the normal routine of our lives, it's always going to bring up emotions that we don't deal with on the normal day-to-day basis. And I think it's really important to remember in those times of, trouble, that it's really important to see yourself and validate how you're feeling and tell yourself it's more than okay. And, not only that, but really remember how important it is to feel through your feelings whenever you're feeling any sort of intense emotion, because that's the only way you're going to be able to move past that wave and see the other side and see how your body will be a different version of itself once you heal through that emotion and let yourself feel it, because our bodies naturally have a way of reflecting on how it made us feel and how we can change how we reacted, or how someone else could have possibly been they treated us away because something happened to them and that's why they're like that. There's so many different scenarios that could come into play when it comes to really just seeing things at a very broad spectrum. It makes just existing a lot easier, and it makes being safe, feeling safe in any sort of place, that's new, or that you want to go somewhere you've never been before but you feel anxious about it. If you give yourself all these opportunities to feel the emotion that you're feeling and not react in the way that you're used to reacting, or the way that is not serving your highest good, and instead maybe not even reacting at all, or just reacting in a way that makes you feel safe and just feels good. It doesn't make your energy feel low. It doesn't cause pain, or doesn't attack the other person's energy or whatever. I feel like feeling through those emotions is so important. Also, something I guess I touched on a little bit, but the fact that we will never be able to change unless we change the way that we have been used to reacting, or the way that we're used to responding to scenarios or to people or anything like that. So I have an example. Earlier, this is an example of me not responding in the way that I should have. And I was reflecting on it after the fact, and I was like, yeah, that was old me, just kind of projecting a little bit. So here's the example. I was in the kitchen with my dad, and I asked him how his work. I asked him how his day was. And he was going on about how his day was, and I had called in today because I myself had quite a long day. I had to move actually to my dad's house from my grandma's house. And so I was all day yesterday packing, and then today I was moving it all from my car into his house. And yeah, so I had a long day myself. But I had asked him how his day was, and he was telling me about it and kind of getting mad at me for not being at work because it made it harder or whatever. And then it was just silent. And I should have just walked away. But instead I went, "So you're not going to ask me how my day was?" And then he went, "Ugh, how was your day?" All whatever. And then immediately I start reacting and ugh, I hate that I did that, because then he thinks I'm emotionally immature because I was upset that he didn't ask me how my day was. But I had just said, well, yeah, my day was kind of hard and really long, and I did a lot myself, so I'm sorry I wasn't at work, but I did quite a lot myself and got a lot done, and still took care of myself and ate 3 meals, and I still went to the gym. And anyways, we got in a little argument because he was upset that I was upset. But I have to remember that some people just aren't mentally in a space where they even understand where you're coming from. And so it's kind of like a waste of your own breath to like get upset with people or to react to them in a way that's like trying to like prove them wrong or to like tell them what's the right way, you know? I feel like if you know the person or if you can just read the room. One way we can really validate our emotions is by not bringing in an energy that we know is going to make us feel invalidated. Like my dad was making me feel invalidated by not asking me how my day was, but then I felt even worse and even like more invalidated, and I felt even more like he didn't give a F because he was mad that I like wanted him to ask, you know? And like it's not that he doesn't care, it's just that he's whatever, probably has had a long day. Is like whatever, you know, everyone has their own issues, and they respond to you in certain ways that sometimes we feel like is unfair, or that they just shouldn't and it's wrong and they should have responded a different way. But sorry, I keep trying to yawn and like holding it in, and it's so hard to not yawn. But I feel bad. I don't want to make my listeners yawn after I yawn because I know they're contagious. But yeah, so I feel like really paying attention to how we're conversing with people, how people are making us feel whenever we're conversing with them, slash like how we can change our attitude when it comes to whenever people are making us feel hurt or anything like that. Because in reality, it's just our egos talking, you know, like it does not matter. Like if people are talking to us rudely or if they're disrespecting us or whatever, if they're not like your immediate family or your partner or like someone you genuinely like care so much about in their opinion, literally just ignore it. And I know it's easier said than done, but the more you practice it, the better, the easier it's gonna get. I promise you. And I feel like that's common sense, you know, like the more you do something, the easier it gets. And like the more you practice not letting how people make you feel emotionally, like not letting how, did that make sense? Not letting how people make you feel emotionally like become your reality. You know, like for example, that scenario with my dad. I obviously was hurt because he didn't ask me how my day was, even though I like had a long day and now I'm living with him and I was expecting him to ask me. But I had to sit with myself and like, since I practice this quite often, I reflect on how I interact with like everyone, every interaction I have for the most part. But as I was sitting and reflecting, I had realized that I was projecting onto him almost, because I also was upset because my grandma hadn't ever asked me how my day was. She also would like just over talk about how her day was, and like it's a different scenario, but she is like just older and like her life surrounds around her. So like I understand why she would do that, and like I didn't really take it personally, but like I guess it did a little bit to the point where it hurt me, and I was then projecting that onto my dad, even though sometimes he does ask me how my day was, you know? So I think that's really important to be able to reflect on how you're reacting to people, how you're responding, how people are making you feel, and seeing just how it like balanced or not balanced it makes you feel as well. Yeah, I feel like that was really the point I wanted to make, like really trying to validate your emotions, because I know that going into this new era of me living here with my dad, it's going to be a new cycle of me healing. And that thing that I'm going to heal for sure is my neglect wound. Because I'm already seeing how I have that. And it's only the first night that I'm here. But that's okay. We're all human. And as long as I can see what my issues are and I'm willing to fix them and I put in the work to fix them, I'm doing the best that I can. And that's the best that I can do. And I love myself for that. So yeah, I hope you guys have an amazing week. And I will not see you next week. I'm thinking about probably taking like a month break or so to really recoup, really understand what I want my next topic to be. And if you guys don't follow my Instagram, I put the handle in the bio, but you can check that for updates. And yeah, I hope you guys have an amazing week again, times two. And take a shot every time I say you have an amazing week. Have an amazing week. Are you guys drunk yet? And I'll see you soon on Divine FM.